"What the heck is this?" Shelley demanded. She dropped the garbage bag on the ground and stared at the dumpster. Bags were ripped open, and kitchen scraps from the restaurant were scattered all over the ground. "Maybe some animals got into the garbage," Derek, one of the kitchen workers, said. Shelley let out a loud sigh. "We'll have to clean up before more animals come," she said. The bar and grill she owned was short-staffed today, and she didn't want to overwork her staff. She sent Derek back into the kitchen and began to clean up the mess. The next morning, Shelley saw the garbage was once again scattered on the ground. She frowned as she inspected the bin. She had deliberately put an old metal chair on top of the opening to keep it closed. The last thing she expected was to find the chair set aside and the trash once again on the ground. It seemed unlikely a raccoon would have lifted the chair and put it aside. The mess was terrible, and if the health inspector saw it, they would be reprimanded and maybe even fined. That wasn't something she could afford, since she was barely able to keep afloat due to the recession. Cleaning up the mess each morning was giving her too much work. As a result, Shelley went to buy a security camera and a lock. She installed the lock and positioned the camera so it faced the garbage bin. That night, she stayed a little later at the restaurant to go over her paperwork. Shelley sat at the bar and had the TV running in the background. She started to yawn when she caught sight of the security screen. She gasped as she saw a figure standing next to the dumpster, rattling the newly installed lock. Shelley had thought it was an animal that rummaged through her trash. She never dreamed that it would be a person. She jumped off the stool and ran into the kitchen. She opened her fridge and took out a container of food that she had reserved for dinner. Shelley quickly made her way to the back exit. When she opened the door, the figure jumped and faced her. Their eyes locked. The woman looked like a trapped animal. But then she seemed to regain her senses and started to run. "Wait," Shelley called. "I have something for you." The woman looked back at her, and when she saw the food container, she slowed. "This is for you," Shelley said, stretching out her arm. The woman clearly wanted to take off, but the food was too much of a temptation. Finally, she cautiously retraced her steps. "I ask that you don't go rummaging through the trash," Shelley said. "I have too much respect for you as a person. Please, if you need food, just come inside the restaurant and I'll give it to you." "Thanks," the stranger said, her voice rough. She took the offering and quickly disappeared into the night. For a long time, Shelley looked in the direction where the stranger had disappeared. Seeing the woman had shocked her. She had expected a homeless person, but the slim figure looked like any average person Shelley might have passed on the street. What hardships did the woman face that forced her to sift through the garbage to find food? Of course, Shelley knew firsthand that the food prices had increased substantially in the past year. While her restaurant was struggling, things were manageable, but she never feared that she would go hungry. She had been so wrapped up in her business that she'd never considered how the economy affected the marginal people in society. Shelley packed up her things and returned home. All the while, the troubles of society weighed on her mind. She turned on the computer and came across articles recounting the challenges families faced during the recession. The stories saddened her. After a while, she turned off her computer. She was a problem solver, and she felt a need to do something. But what could she do? Over the next few days, Shelley monitored her security camera, but no one came to disturb the dumpster again. Just when she thought that the woman would never return, the stranger had entered the restaurant. One of the servers spoke with her. The woman seemed nervous and was about to leave when Shelley walked up to them. "We have some food for you," she told the woman. Shelley directed the server to pack some food for the visitor. The stranger thanked her profusely and said her name was Pam. She explained that she struggled to put food on the table for her family after losing her job. She visited different dumpsters in the city and was able to scrape together meals. Shelley was the only restaurant owner who had offered her fresh food. "Have you tried gardening?" Shelley asked. "That will give you fresh food." "I don't know how to garden," Pam said, shaking her head. Besides, there's nowhere I can grow food even if I wanted to. Shelley considered the woman's words, and an idea sparked in her. She had grown up on a farm, and gardening was second nature to her. If she could teach this woman and others like her, they would never need to go through the garbage for food. She used her connections and reached out to local businesses and asked them to sponsor her gardening project. After she explained her vision, the businesses donated enough money for her to rent a plot of land and buy the basic supplies and equipment needed to get the project underway. Pam brought her family and her friends, and each week they helped to weed, water, and care for the plants. And when Shelley appealed for more volunteers, people from all over the city raised their hands. By the time summer rolled around, the garden was in full swing, and when Shelley wasn't working at the restaurant, she was at the community garden. The volunteers were amazed at the taste of garden lettuce and kale, and it was a thrilling moment for Pam and her children when they saw tiny flowers transforming into juicy tomatoes and cucumbers. Through the hard work of all the volunteers, the garden produced more than enough food for families in need. Shelley was happy to contribute to her community and bring people together through her gardening project. She felt good knowing that her new friends now had enough to eat, and with the new skills they learned, they would be able to continue growing healthy food far into the future. What did you guys think of the story? Please comment in the comment section below. I can't wait to read your answers and discussions. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get the latest stories to warm your heart. Until next time, bye.